Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Got some things we're going to talk about today. Some movement things, some grain movement things.
Those things, they're yellow and red.
Another really important part of the farm, at least in our operation, we don't have grain legs out here. I know the corn and beans and all the row crop guys just don't understand why don't we have grain legs. The difference is we have a lot of different crops. We don't just have two, corn and beans. And a lot of our crops require sorting between proteins, different types of crops, whatever it may be. I mean, there's just a lot of, and then a lot of these farms that were built out in our part of the country had little grain bins put all over the place. So we store grain all over the place.
And you just keep adding bin after bin after bin. Mm-hmm. So the best way to set up to the bin and put your product in is grain augers.
That's where grain augers come in. And grain augers are a lot cheaper than a grain leg.
A lot cheaper.
And you can move them around. This is a Westfield MX 130-90, or I think it's 1394.
I think the numbers are wrong on that. It's supposed to be a 1394, I believe.
And Westfield is part of the AGI company. And we've had this auger for a number of years now. It's been awesome. Awesome. One of the best augers, if not the best, well, it's the best large capacity auger we've ever had. Yeah. There's some things, though, that we'll go over in a second, but we're going to be changing it out to an upgraded version. And that's where the MKX2 1394 comes into play. Let's go to the end. I'll start why this auger is better than our previous generation. Looking at the spouts of this, the end of the augers, you can see that one's got a black rounded end on it. That one's got a metal flat end on it where the bearing goes different. We have our spout on there too, to ignore that. That's our thing. But what happened here is they realized there was a bottleneck on this one, and it was adding more horsepower requirements for the tractor to push the product up and down and drop out the end. This one, just by adding a sloped natural flow at the end, cut the horsepower requirements down quite a bit on that auger, plus added capacity. So that's upgrade number one. Upgrade number two, like we like to call the backbone. I don't know if that's called the backbone. We call it the backbone. They put turnbuckles along the frame here. So if for some reason your auger needs adjusted, you can turn them and then put tension or reduce tension on the backbone structure of this auger to keep it straight. Unlike this one, there is no adjusting. You just get what you get.
Now, when you have a long auger like this, 94 feet is quite a long ways to maneuver in tight areas. Well, we have a lot of room in our area. It's not a bad deal, but these can be a little bit of a challenge. One of the things they did on this one, which is actually kind of cool, and I'm excited to try, is they've got a steerable axle. So you can actually hydraulically move these tires. So if you're backing up and you're about this far off the bin, instead of driving forward and then repositioning going, you just crank these wheels and it'll just kind of push it right over and you're done. The hoist on this one, fabulous. I love it. It's been great for us, except for one thing. They beefed this up. It's a little bit heavier. Looks like heavier cylinders, bigger pulleys, and just a lot more iron built around it. Reason why they did it? Why not?
Well, this is the Gulp 2. We've had this for a while. We did a little bit of upgrades ourselves to it. I should say leg arms did. And it's been great. It's ran well, but the problem with the Gulp is it likes to leak a little bit of grain on the ground, and there's some weak points to it. Also, it's hydraulically driven, so it takes a little bit more capacity of hydraulics in your tractor, as general as heat generation, to run this auger setup, conveyor auger, to feed the main 13-inch auger up the top. That's where the new and improved crossover comes in. Crossover's been beefed up, holes have been patched, and most importantly, it is now mechanically driven from the main auger. So the PTO driving off the tractor is powering this as well. So no longer is this belt driven by hydraulics. It's 100% mechanical all the way up. So your hydraulic load is basically zero when you're running the auger, unless you're swinging stuff around. So all you're doing is running your PTO. Now swing outs are simple too, and those are great, but we just prefer the drive over than the swing out. It just makes things simpler. You get the tire tracks established by the trucks. They just go up and over, up and over. Just seems like it streamlines things a lot better than trying to swing an auger or a swing out pan in and out, in and out, in and out every single time you got to move a hopper or a trailer. Especially if you're driving a pup or multiple trailers like Super Bees, that sounds like a headache. You notice on the bottom of the auger, a little more iron's been added right there compared to right there. So they figured that was a weaker point they fixed. They added bigger access panels into the transition here as it goes to the main auger. Bigger doors on this one, smaller doors on that one, and then the gearbox. So we don't have it. It's coming, but we got a reducer, so it'll take 1,000 or 500 and turn to 1,000 PTO, as well as give the option to reverse the auger if needed. This one, no reverse option. You slam that with something like fertilizer or some wet grain, you're putting a big pipe wrench on there and you're turning it by hand to get it apart. The gearbox, when we get it on here, which it'll be here soon, we'll get it installed. you'll be able to actually, I'm actually not entirely sure how it works. I haven't had one yet. A lever or something you throw and it'll reverse the rotation of the auger. So you can open all the doors up on the back here and pull the product back down and make a big pile on the ground instead of dealing with the nightmare of turning it by hand.
The other thing too is what's going to be nice is we can run the tractor at a higher RPM so you can get that turbo to breathe and cool the engine, and it won't lug as much when you're trying to do pulse crops and run at slower RPM. So you got more torque and horsepower, and it's going to be more efficient, I think.
So special thanks to our friends at AGI as well as TNS Sales. That's NorthwestGrainAugers.com. Those guys were the ones that helped bring this auger to us and get us set up and get us swapped out. So it's going to be fun. Good stuff. I'm excited to put some product through these augers. Got to break it in. So let's get to it.
Today's the day. We're going to try to start cutting some peas and see what happens. But, it's getting hot. It's like 100 degrees here. Anyways, I need to take the new Westfield auger over to the bins and get it set up. And Nick ran to town real quick to grab a few things, and Dad will pick me up. And then once we get back, start the combines up. We'll take them in the field and see what happens. But yeah, we're getting that close. Getting closer to finally see the fruits of our labor. Looking forward to seeing what happens. Oh, is it hot out? Oh. We're gonna get the auger set up in the bin. I need to go back here and open up the top gate. It's nice that we don't have to climb to the top to lift the lids. How are we looking as far as the bin lid up? I gotta crank it a little more. I'm not as cranky as you guys thought I am. Now that felt like there was some resistance to the cranking, so I'm assuming that it reached close to the peak. Yep, it's open now. Great, let's go help him center the bin, auger in the bin. Are you watching, Kobe? All right, when you guys see it pop through, let me know. There we go. All set up to the bin, ready to go. Now let's go cut some acres. Go, we're rolling. Peas are going in the combine. So far, got Dad dialed in. We're just kind of getting things fixed, but I think it makes sense to take this one, right? I know you guys want to take that one. That one's our backup, but 377, here we go. Yeah, I probably should. Let's fire it up. Oh yeah, look at that. That wasn't on there before. Don't worry, we didn't forget. Okay, yeah, I did forget. I forgot before the video. Ooh, it smells nice in here. So I'm in a 2012 8230 Case IH
Axial Flow combine. It's been a good combine. We've had it for 6 years now. And right now we're sitting at, where's our separator hours? A little over 2,000 threshing hours. We were talking about upgrading and getting a newer combines this year, but the crops said otherwise, so we're not doing that. So we'll run them again, even though they depreciate, you know, quicker when you get over that 2,000 separator hour mark. But it's a good combine. It's had a lot of work done to it. We've done a lot of work done to it. You know, you can make a combine a great combine, just got to do work to it. Just keep thin parts thick and worn parts, replace them, and it'll just keep going. But it's a good combine, and I'm excited to run Beast by it again for another season. Let's get to it. Let's get back where Dad is, in the field. Okay, pulling up the field here. Dad's already on the east side. This is the west side. There's just like an 80-acre piece right here. Lentils are right there. They are right on the edge of needing desiccated, so I got to get on that probably tonight. But we'll get started on this. First thing I do is get this combine dialed in. I've already set my concave spacing to 20. Upper sieve, I have it at 18. Lower sieve, I have it at 14. I got to set the rotor to 350, 380 RPM, and the fan about 1,000 to 1,100. So we'll get to that as soon as I stop right here. Okay, separator on. Got speed. Let's turn the header on. There we go. Real speed. We'll just do automatic for now. Let's rev it up to full throttle. So our rotor speed's 450. It's a little fast. So I'm going to hold the button here. Let's turn it down. Fun thing about a CVT drive is it is fast adjustments. I love it. Hydraulic fan. Not belt driven. Hydraulic. Easy. Just tap it. There we go. Let's go harvest. We're gonna pull up to the truck, and I'm just gonna ask you guys a favor right now. Just don't look underneath the truck, please. Just a favor, just between you and me. I just appreciate it. Don't comment on it. Just don't say anything. Just act like you can't see underneath the truck. That would be great. Pay attention to what's going on above the truck, not below the truck. You guys would just kindly. In fact, actually just ignore what I said. Don't even think about what I said. You guys are just, yeah. All right, let's pay attention to what's going on here. There we go. Ooh, look at that. That's a brand new grain trailer. Brand new Demco, 42-foot steel Demco. And I thought about it when I drove up the field, I should check the gates on it, make sure they're closed. And I didn't. I climbed out, got in the side-by-side, and went back to get the combine. And then I came time to fill, and, well, the rest is history. I can't clean the shop, but I can clean the field. So here's our peas. Not a lot of green pods. There's one right there. See, that's a green shell. If you have too many of these in your grain bins, they can mold. The peas themselves really don't mold very bad if the moisture's right. But a couple of those are soft, so some of these are about 20 moisture, and a lot of this is hard. These peas are kind of small. They should normally be a little bit bigger than that. They're definitely a smaller pea. That's obviously a sign of the drought. We'll get that back in the truck soon. I know. My fault. These peas are yummy. So far, the peas are coming in about what I thought they would. Good. Last year, we did a lot of 10 bushel peas, 11 bushel peas. This year, so far, this field's running about 15, 16. So that's an improvement. So we're averaging about 16 bushels. I've harvested 222 bushels. Now, that's not 100% calibrated. So that could be off a little bit. I don't know. We'll know when we get the field in, then we'll know the acres, and we can take the bushels harvested divided by the acres, and we'll know exactly what our yield was. But for now, I mean, it's a moisture island. It probably is not bad. A good yield for us would be 30 bushel for these peas. 30, 35, that would be awesome. We definitely droughted this year, and we're running about, well, right now, about 15, 16. That's not a good yield for us. But considering last year's yield, that's a good yield. I'm killing flies. Where'd he go? He's just there. There he is. Had my door open. Get him. Oh, they're all over the place. Get them. There we go. If we average 15 to 20 bushels an acre with our peas, that would be phenomenal. That'd probably be our best yielding crop. I just don't know if that's going to happen, but we're hopeful. We are definitely hopeful. Last year's yield was about 9 to 10 bushels an acre, so this is definitely a good start. This is the first day of harvest. We probably could have been going a day or two ago. It was hard to say. The peas had some green visually from the road as you're driving by, so it probably wasn't a bad thing, but we like to harvest our peas just a little bit wet if possible, and that avoids cracking the peas. It's nice when they're a little bit of moisture, they go through the augers better. How much rainfall average in Shelby per year? If we could get 7 to 10 inches a year, that would be in our average year rainfall. Anything above 10 inches, we'd be like right on the money. We've been averaging about 4 to 5 the last couple of years. But yes, this year we've got about 4.5 inches of rain so far for the season. And a lot of that wasn't during the growing season. The hard part this year was we had no submoisture because last year was so dry. We didn't have any rain last year. In the fall, we had very little snow. So there just wasn't much in the ground to start the year off. And then we went about a month without any rain in May into June, and that really stunted the crops and put them in drought mode. So that's a really set us back. But, you know, we don't know until we're in the rest of the crop. Ruling's out. How are the May West pads working? I think they're working great. I haven't gone down and looked at them yet. I mean, the header's sliding. All these years we ran without them. I don't know why we didn't put them on sooner. So, yes, I conveniently am wearing a May West hat, surprisingly right then. But, yeah, no, we're happy. So far, so good. Gotcha. Sorry. Flies. I'll show you guys something here. Is it doing it? Oh, it stopped. The death wobble. When these headers are dragging the ground, they'll start to wobble if you don't have the downforce set correctly, and they start to bounce real bad, and it actually just stopped. So, hey, look at that. 20. There we go. 21. Are we going up our yield better? Is it 17 now? 16. Averaging 16 in the field right now. 20 bushels an acre right here. That's encouraging. That's good to know. I hope that's a representation of the whole farm. This is one field. We've got 1,800 acres to go, 1,900 acres to go. So who knows what the peas are going to do, the rest. But that's good. I got to show you guys something. There's the 377, possibly going to be called the repeat. And you can see a bump on the top of it. And if you want to know what that bump is, Leg Arms has the front end loader over there cleaning up my mess. What a brother. He's cleaning up my grain pile right now. What a swell guy.
So that is not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be in there. And somebody left the gate open. Now I'm not going to name names because that's just being mean and rude, but I'm pretty sure I have a high suspicion it was Mr. Doug Larson. Come on, dude. You've been doing this for how many years? And that's just not acceptable. I gotta clean this up now. Hope you feel good about yourself, Duggo. It is such a good feeling to see those combines cutting in the field right now. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into trying to get you guys food, and the amount of hours and weeks and days and all the preparation, all the shop time, and all the figuring out of what to do for what fields and what kind of crops to grow, and you know, what's the year going to look like, what kind of fertilizer, what kind of chemicals do you put on to try to stop the weed production, or I mean, you got so many things trying to figure out, and then you finally get to harvest. and it's a good feeling to try to get what you can off the fields, and you reap what you sow. And sometimes you work very, very hard, and you might not get a lot of rewards, but at the end of the day, though, I'll tell you what, if I didn't work hard and I didn't give it all, everything I have, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to sleep, knowing that I didn't give everything. And the fact that I know I'm giving everything I can right now and doing what I can, some days are tougher than others, and at least at the end of the day, I know I gave everything I could. And I think that's all that really matters right now. I mean, you do what you can, and today will have its own struggles, tomorrow will have its own struggles, and you figure out tomorrow when it gets there. And yeah, it's a lot of effort's gone into this. That's what I'm trying to say, is all these farmers and ranchers and people out there that help the agriculture, you guys work hard and keep up the good work, because it matters and people got to eat.
Well, I'm back in the saddle for the year 2024. Just started harvesting today, actually about 4 hours ago. I got my trusty co-pilot. Hey, hi Kobe. Are you ready to ride? Yeah, he's watching. I have had no attacks by rogue gophers, rogue rabbits, and rogue coyotes. So he's doing his job so far. We're cutting yellow peas, as probably you guys have seen when I show you this anyway. I've got B-spine cutting on the other side of the field. We're cutting close to the home. It's always nice to cut right next to the shop in case you need a little more tweaking done to the combines. You can just run them over there, and then once they start really running, then you're probably good to go the rest of the harvest. But we're getting a good start. Anyway, we'll keep you posted, keep you advised on the different adventures that happen. Looking forward to many special adventures, right, Kobe? Are we? Man, I'll tell you, when we got the combines out, he followed me like Velcro stuck together. He was ready for this combine. He loves the top equipment on the farm is the combine. And the reason for that is Florida ceiling view. So he could just lay there, right, Kobe? Huh? You looking for coyotes? And rabbits? And deer? And gophers? Yeah, I know. Yeah, all right, he still knows that. It's in his psyche. All right, I'll let you guys go. I'll get back to when some real adventure happens, but glad to have you guys aboard.
Sounds like a bunch of rock. Man, peas are noisy. That's awesome. Oh, that's a sweet deal. Love it. All right, I'm in No Name Truck. We haven't figured this name out yet. A lot of you guys have come up with some really good options. I don't know, a lot of people are calling the new Pete, the repeat, the 77, the 377, and none of you guys have come up with like butters, you know, we could call it butters or something like that. But anyways, haven't figured it out, but I'm going to take this over to the bins, and we will unload this load. First load this truck has ever taken on our farm. And first load this grain trailer's ever taken. Pretty cool. I like it. You know, that Big Boss turbo injectors, they woke this thing up. This thing has never ran so good in its life. At least I don't remember running as good as this. We haven't tuned it up, but to be honest, At this point, I don't think I want to touch anything on the engine. I feel this thing. I mean, right there we hit about 30 can't even talk. 30 psi in the boost, and I wasn't really super laying into it, so that's doing pretty good. But I think we should just keep it at the horsepower it is right now, because it feels good.
Just got fired up. We're now into field number 3 on day number 2, and we're just gonna whack this field off. This is the closest field to town, and it's always kind of fun here because if you get bored, you can look over and look at town for a bit until you get back into the middle of nowhere. We just look at fields. But yeah, so far it's running about 15. We'll see how it does when we get further in there. I'm in the headlands, and headlands typically yield a lot lower than the center of the field just because there's more competition, so more compaction, all that stuff. Anyways, let's get to it.
All right, we're back in the saddle again, second day. Got some passengers. He's not a passenger, but he's kind of out of it. He's sleeping, but I have my one of my granddaughters. What's your name? Is Dorothy? Sally? Rosie. Got Rose and Luke with me. Yes. And so we're harvesting. It's about 100. It's over 100 right now. This will be the hottest day of the year. Hopefully the hottest day of the year. I'm done with these hot temperatures. And things are running smooth. We just got a little strip left on this one, and then we'll move to another field. But they've been keeping me busy and stealing my snacks. So, all fun. All right, catch you in a little bit.
Well, I've been going at it all day, and it's been running about 15 to 22. Right now we're, well, at 22, but the average for the last 150 acres or so, 17. So that's about where we wanted it to be, you know, for what we got. Conditions, that's great. So everything's running really smooth. Like Arms is running trucks back and forth. The new Pete seems to be running pretty good. New grain chiller's gates stay shut when you shut them. Funny how that works when you actually shut them. They don't leak. The Westfield auger is that gearbox. It's awesome. The Magnum loves it. You can throttle the engine up. Cooler temps, more power to the PTO, and it just flows those peas awesome. So we're thrilled about that too. So I'm about ready to turn the sure track system on, get some air flowing on those peas in the bin. Got to make sure there's enough on that floor. Otherwise, if you turn that fan on, there's a lot of pressure, and it can actually lift the floor off the concrete. So that aeration floor needs weight on it. So after about 5 or 6 trucks, you can probably get away with 2 or 3, but I like to do 5,000 or 6,000 bushels on the floor and then turn the air on. So anyways, that's what's happening. We're moving right along. Well, my sickle quit working for a second, and I figured, oh, it's got to be a rock jammed up in it, or a guard, I mean a section that's bent up and stuck in a guard. Smoke in the air, see the smoke? Montana's burning again, as well as probably Canada and everywhere else. All those fires. Doesn't smell in the air yet, but nice red sun. Anyways, let's go back to farming. Ignore the random pipe right there found in the field. Broken sickle. Right there. Snapped. And that's not very fixable. I mean, you could put a piece across here and try to weld that up, but really need a new sickle. Part of the reason it's an old sickle, it's probably been in there for a couple seasons, 4 or 5 seasons maybe. I don't know if it's been that long, but you know, they just eventually get brittle right there and they break. Second thing is this header was bent last year, and we haven't had a chance to bend it back. I really wanted to, we just didn't get to it. But if you look down it goes like that, right at the end there. So that sickle's having to turn and move a little bit. I'm sure it's wearing on these guards. We ran it last year like this for a while. It seems to run fine. That guard needs bent down. It's hit a rock and lift it up. So, but that causes a little bit of strain on it too. So it's hard to say what really did it. But I'm done for tonight. So let's run this back to the shop and park it. and figure out, get a sickle in the morning, get her fixed. Good stuff. By the way, the peas here, around about 23 bushels an acre, 24. That's pretty good for conditions. That's awesome.